Moby's pick. Moby's pick.
Boom.
Grow. Alright, guys. We'll be doing Shadows over Innistrad League. So we're going to start our pool now and see how it breaks out. Yeah, I want to join this league. Alright. So, you know what we're going to do first? Slide that over there. We don't actually need that. Let's make that tiny too. Alright, so I guess let's go ahead and sort by rarity real quick and see if we got any sweet weird rares. Startled Awake, I like that. That's legit. It's even better in sealed.
I like that.
Let's look at the other rares. We got black rare I don't want to play. A black rare that's good but not great. A blue rare that's fine but not great. Two pretty solid white rares and a green rare that can go in some decks but doesn't usually. I will say that we got a pretty good pack for value because Declaration and Cryptothlights, I think, almost pay for the draft or for the seal.
Oh, really? I didn't realize they were that much.
They might have dropped some. At one point, it would have.
Yeah, and the we don't actually get these cards till I don't know when, but
they might have changed it or not. I'm just a little curious now. Oh, it's moved up and down. Never mind.
$3 for Declaration and Stone,
and $1. So they've already dropped. It's not terrible.
It's
It's not great. Whatever. They may go up or down. The format's pretty flexible, which is something that's really cool about going on right now. Is that the format itself is like just all over the place. Okay, I really do not want basic lands.
yeah, you can hide this game.
Yeah, let's hide the basic lands. All right, so colorless and multicolored spells are pretty comfortably just Wildfield Crow, which is good. Yeah, I like this guy. If we wanted up splashing, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Let's look at the green cards that I'm excited about. I'm excited about Graph Mole. If we have enough cards for the Crawling and Sensation deck, that's good. Byway Courier's great. Obsessive Skinner's pretty solid. I like green. Green's got a lot of low drops. Dushwalk Recruiter, that's pretty good too.
That's one of my favorite cards in the set.
And then I think that playable green cards, Intrepid Provisioner can be good. The Mite can be good. The Builder is fine. The Fort can be fine. Name High can be fine. These other three cards could be playable. Clip Wings, obviously, sideboard card. Cryptothlight, if the deck fits, then you put it in, but it probably won't. Equestrian Skill, if you're just real aggressive. I think green looks good.
Green does look good.
Alright,
let's look at red.
I like Firehound. I like Fiery Temper. I don't mind Uncaged Fury. Howlpack's pretty good. Blood Mad Vampire's solid. Good Evasion's good in an aggressive deck. Chasm's good in an aggressive. There's an aggressive red shell here. We have aggressive red deck.
That's pretty cool.
If we want to play aggressive red, it's an option. There's no other red deck available to us. I also like how we just don't have any trash cards so far, you know?
That's pretty good.
Hound of the Farbog is like our trashiest card so far. Alright, I like Ghoulsteed quite a bit. Tooth Collector quite a bit. I like Pick the Brain pretty well in Seal, just because people have more relevant big rares, you know?
Yeah. People are usually playing a bomb if they have it.
A couple good 3-drops. I'll run a main deck Vessel. I like the Rancid Rats. I like the first Macabre Waltz. Black's about half and half. The rest of these black cards, I'm not going to say they're unplayably bad, but they're not exciting. But I could see black. I would play black if I had, I think there were a couple cards with Delirium that were good, right? We had a Tooth Collector. I think Macabre Waltz kind of fits in that same venue.
Mm-hmm.
And Asylum Visitor can be pretty solid there, but I don't think the rest are. And Ghoulsteed, which is real solid.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's look at blue cards. Maybe it's Rise from Tides, probably not. Pour the Pages, good. Gone Missing,
Stop making
good.
Rise from Tides a thing.
Startled Awake, Sleep Paralysis, Silent Observer, the Trawler, Aberrant Researcher, Scholar. I don't mind the first Deny Existence, not excited about the second. Catalog's pretty good. Vessel solid. These blue cards I'm not too excited about. That's not bad though.
It's not terrible. You should probably just put all the cards you're going to try not to play in a win pile.
So the hard part about that is we just need to figure out what kind of deck we want to run. Like I think we're going to look at an aggressive deck and we're going to look at the Delirium deck. And a lot a lot of these black cards aren't very good unless you're in that deck. Like, yeah, if we're running the beatdown deck, I'm not running Macabre Waltz
Mm-hmm.
or Pick the Brain. But if we're in a slower deck, All right, so white, I'm not excited about Humble the Brute. What are we excited about in white? Bygone Bishop, Angelic Purge, Declaration. I'm excited about Topplegeist, Drabin Expector.
You really want to make that deck work?
I think the Geist is good in any deck that can get Delirium pretty consistently.
Are there any other really good... Inquisitor's Ox is alright.
So you want to look at the Delirium cards and then the aggressive cards and just go that way?
That'd be pretty easy to build a deck.
All
Won't
right.
take us long.
So let's get the Delirium payoff cards and the Delirium.
Yeah, just drag them all into one deck.
Yeah, let's go to sort by color. All right. Anything that's a Delirium
Just
enabler?
Drag them into the deck.
Oh, the deck. I like that better. Might Beyond Reason. I don't think Might Beyond Reason's really in it. I think it's fine in the deck, but you don't care either way.
Yeah, you really don't.
I think I'll count Fork in the Road as an enabler. I think that's where it really belongs.
I really wish they'd have pushed Might Beyond Reason a little bit. Made it 4 counters for 4 if you had Delirium.
So the thing I like about it is that 2 counters for 4 is about right. Like usually
Yeah, I
you
think
get
they
that
should.
effect with an untap or something.
Yeah, I think they should have pushed the Delirium a little harder, though.
I don't think Pick the Brain counts.
No.
Let's put the Vessels in there. I think those count as enablers to an extent.
Yeah, the Vessels are probably worth running. We don't have any of the green Vessel, though, do we?
We
That
don't.
makes that deck hard to play.
A little bit. I think Startled Awake is a payoff. Alright, so it looks like we're probably going to have to play blue if we're playing... I don't really want to count the Ox. Like, it's fine, but...
No, it's a decent card to play, though.
It is, but I'm not... I'll play the Ox in the deck that fits, not because I have Delirium. Like, the Ox is not...
The Ox is just probably going to get played.
And if we're aggressive, then Stern Constable can work, but I'm not too big on that outside of the aggressive.
So I don't think we really have it.
No, those are just the enablers and the payoffs. So...
I'm not seeing very many payoffs here.
The payoffs are... Let's put the payoffs in one little pile here.
Goldsteed's only really a payoff because we get it back from the graveyard.
Yeah, but it's really good, though. Like, you can discard 2 cards, get your Delirium, get it back. Like, it's going to do good work there. I would rather run it in that deck than not in that deck.
I think it's just good enough to just run. So
It is, but it's significantly better in that deck, I guess is the way I should rephrase it. Alright, we are not running, obviously, 4 colors. We would have to choose. We'd probably be running 2 colors in a splash. We'd probably...
it's so evenly split. It's going to be hard to build a deck here.
I think that... I think you're base green blue, and then you splash for what you want to splash for. I think that's what the deck is. I mean, that's what the deck is. But let's put all this back and look at the color stuff, because I think we actually have a better deck that's not so dependent on those synergies. I just want to look at the green beatdown type deck. I think ours is actually really nice. I just want to pull in all of the...
good green cards.
2 just low drops, just beatdown cards.
Oh, okay. You don't want to build like a mid-range deck, because that's what most decks end up being.
Well, I mean, it plays well in the mid-range. Let's look at the cards that are good later. This is good later, this is good later, this is good later. Like,
Well, I mean, you could just pull in the cards that are actually mid-game drops.
yeah, and we're going to, but like all these good cards are good later in the game. So I think that having such a good base of good aggressive creatures that scale well late in the game makes me want to play a more aggressive deck.
Yeah, me too.
So let's look at each of the colors and see what they have to offer us. Now, green does offer us some other cards that we could consider.
Yeah, I mean, I like Intrepid Provisioner. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. This is the Trample one, right?
Intrepid Visioner is good if we have enough humans. If we end up green-white, then I would definitely consider that.
And Watching the Webs is just really good, so probably get played.
Maybe. It just depends on how aggressive we are. Like, if we don't have ways to push through damage and it's just locking up the ground, then it's probably not great.
Well, so I think we should aim towards a mid-range deck instead of trying to just go super aggressive. So I don't think that's going to get us very far.
Let's look at the
We don't
red
seem to have
cards.
enough cards. I suppose all seal pools end up being pretty evenly split among cards.
Except for the best ones.
But the best ones really aren't, is what I was getting at.
Yeah. If we did have a little bit more, I mean, I guess let's look at not bad. Let's look at the okay green-red really aggressive deck, which runs. We don't really have any reason to run anything outside of that. There's other cards we could run, but this is, I think, the best version of it. So let's look at this for a second.
16 creatures and 7 other spells. That's pretty close to what we want.
Yeah, we could throw in another spell if we think any are great. I think I'd rather just have the land than any one of those cards.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
I could see justifying... I don't think you justify Fork in the Road in this deck. It's just too fast. The nice part about Fork in the Road is you can run one and it gets you closer to Delirium, but I think there's only one card that cares about Delirium. Or I guess there's two, but that one's not very good to count.
Reasonable number of tricks.
Yeah. I mean, everything we have is basically some kind of trick. And 4 of them are instants, which plays okay with Pyrehound. It's not enough to be significant. Oh, I think 5. I like this deck has a lot of 2-drops. I don't like that this deck is running the Blood Seeker with only 1 outlet. Sanguinary Mage, which just isn't great on its own usually unless it's in the right deck. Stoic Builder. Graph Mole. I don't think any of these cards are particularly great for an aggressive strategy. I think that they're fine cards to put in a deck.
Yeah, I would love to move the deck towards mid-range more by maybe switching red out for blue. I mean, you could save that deck that you just built.
I don't think that's the deck we want to build, though. Or the kind of mid... I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the Stoic guy's just not great.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and drag in the different color cards that you would play. So, those are the green cards you like the best. Now drag in another color, like black. And then if you don't get anywhere close to 23, you just keep
just
going.
Back.
You just keep going, yeah.
I think that's really it. We're nowhere near the right amount.
Nope. So, probably not going to play black.
I think we'll only end up playing black if it's a splash. Let's see.
So probably we want to look at blue, and then we want to look at white, and then we want to look at blue-white, probably. Because those have some powerful rares in them.
I think we're probably just going to be a green-based multicolor deck.
Probably, but we want to look at the other deck. I mean, we
For
want
sure.
to save whatever makes the most sense between blue and white, and then we want to build the blue-white deck because there's a lot of blue cards and a lot of white cards.
I think that's it. It's 19.
Let's see. What do these other cards do?
We have a bunch of cards that are going to pay us off for having things in our graveyard, just none of the payoff cards. All of the good Delirium enablers we have are in blue, but none of the good Delirium
Alright,
cards.
so you'll have to...
Let's look at white. There's probably a two-color, a green-white beatdown deck, and that is one of the ones I wanted to see.
yes.
So let's imagine we're running that deck.
And this one, Intrepid Provisioner, gets a lot better in, too.
Bygone Bishop's really solid here. And it picks up some more tricks. I'd probably run the first guidance in that deck.
Probably not.
Okay.
So this deck's looking better already.
It is full. I don't know if looks good is the word I like for it, but it definitely has enough cards. and I think, unfortunately, it has the most amount of removal. The thing I don't like about this deck is we're running some pretty underwhelming cards. Once we start making like the realistic cuts, I think that this deck's going to look a lot less impressive. So obviously we're going to start with cuts out of non-creatures.
Yeah, I would probably cut Tenacity and Ethereal Guidance first. And Strength and Arms, you don't really need the equipment to make it good, so. I'd probably cut Ethereal Guidance, Tenacity, and 1 Strength and Arms to begin with.
I don't think Tenacity's terrible.
It's an instant. I mean, it's not terrible.
I don't know if we have enough creatures for it to be good, though.
I mean, we probably do. I mean, we do have 17 creatures in this deck. Now, you might actually want to cut some creatures as well.
Oh, Humble the Brute. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Right?
Actually, in
let's
this,
survive the night and keep Humble the Brute.
we could do either one.
We have a lot of cheap. I like how many cheap combat tricks we have.
Well,
Right?
Well, we have, 3, 4 cheap combat tricks and 1 3-mana cost one? That's not bad.
Let's see if there's any other creatures. So we could cut a 3-drop. I like that they're 3-drops, but neither of these 3-drops are great, and I want to keep the rest. So we either cut one of these 3-drops, or we cut a spell, which I think is actually either Might Beyond Reason or Humble the Brute. I would cut one of these 4 cards and call that a deck.
So I don't know how well I like Topple Guys because we won't be able to set it up very well. Now, when we do get it set up, it's going to be very good.
It doesn't. It is flying, and
yeah, flying 1/1 is terrible, but the Delirium makes it pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Delirium's pretty solid.
And we have a pretty good number of instants and sorceries, don't we?
Yeah.
We have Angelic Purge and Declaration of Stone as sorceries, Aim High, 2 Strength and Arms as instants, as well as a Humble the Brute and a Might Beyond Reason as an instant, but they're kind of high cost. Now, if we're going to do the Toppelgeist, do you not want to put the Wildfield Scarecrow in? Like, cut maybe 1 combat trick, 1 3-drop, put the Scarecrow in?
So we just cut Militant Inquisitor because it's worse.
Yeah, maybe cut a Humble or Might. Humble might be better out of the sideboard. It might be better in the main board. It's kind of a toss-up because if we play against a deck where Humble's good, it's great.
Yeah.
And if we play against a deck where it's bad, it's really bad. So it really depends on what you expect to see. I expect to see every deck playing at least 1 4-drop that it would have a target for. And if they play 1, they probably play more than 1. That being said, we're not playing 1.
Well, in all fairness, if you look at our deck, how many creatures do we have with 4 or more power?
We don't.
Right.
So,
how many creatures in this pool have 4 more power? And the answer's like 5.
No good ones. So, that's a good reason for keeping that in the sideboard.
Alright, let's add lands to this and set this up as our first possibility. I'm not particularly excited about it. That looks right.
That does look right.
Let's go ahead and save this deck.
Alright, and then you go down to plus...
Yeah, that's right. Damn it. Green, white.
Yeah.
Plus new deck. Alright, so let's leave green alone. Let's go ahead and look at blue. You said you wanted to check out a blue-based deck?
Yeah, let's try a blue-white one. Drag all the cards you would play in the blue-white deck. See if we get any close to 23.
I'm just not sure what our blue-white deck's doing.
I'm not either. That's why we have to see it, Daniel. We've got a lot of cards that are blue and a lot of cards that are white. I would check it out. Especially since we have unlimited time.
That is true.
And unlimited hatred of how even our pool is.
It has Startled Awake. I guess that would be the main win condition there, right?
That's probably
Sad?
well,
I
it's not super sad. It could be worse. So look, we got the requisite number of cards. Which is more than I could say with any other two color combination besides
Green, white.
green, white.
Okay, yeah, I mean, this deck probably gets Delirium pretty well, and it has...
Now the problem is we only have 11 creatures and 12 spells. That's pretty shabby.
Let's see what those spells look like. Because we do have Rise from the Tides in, and I think...
I mean, you love playing Rise from the Tides.
I don't think this is a good Rise from the Tides deck. But let's check the quality of our creatures. If we have 11 creatures and many of them are good win conditions or something, maybe...
It's not looking like it so far.
We've got Startled Awake, which is a great win condition.
I mean, I would love to play that in every deck. Unfortunately, it's double blue.
Okay. So let's separate these. Let's ignore our creatures. The thing I like about our creatures is they have the right costs. They're cheap.
Yeah.
And they're defensive.
And they're high toughness.
So that's not a problem. Do we have another Inquisitor's Ox? You don't usually ask that question so seriously.
That's a good point.
Alright, so we've got card filtering, counter spells. We are running 2 capsules, but I don't mind running 2.
That was kind of the worst one, but it's okay.
Okay, that's our win condition. That's more removal. So we've got 2 win conditions, which is a big boon, right? I mean, let's look at the cards that realistically could win us a game. And there's 4. But
the
one of them
Hornet Researcher has a pretty good chance of flipping in this deck.
It does. And Delirium's very achievable. So this we could also, if you want, I don't think that's the worst thing, run our 6/6 for 6 here. I don't love that, but it is runnable. Let's double check the white cards and make sure. We can also run more 2 and 3 drops if we want to for blocking. Like you could run Militant Inquisitor, you could run Devil Thorn Fox as blockers primarily. Like they can't attack obviously, but they trade out well. Like right, you can just trade your 3/1 for their 4 mana card. Not hard. So we have a little bit more options on the creature spell. I actually don't like a big drop like that in a deck like this. I think that if I was going to put it together, the creatures would look something like this.
Yeah, we might want to cut Humble the Brute from this deck as well.
I'll probably just cut the Trawler.
Oh, the Trawler's really good. We'll just have to play at least 1 black mana.
So let's go ahead and look at this deck with a very light splash of black for the best black cards.
Which is the one that draws us cards, right? And Ghoulsteed. Beret, or whatever its name is.
That's a 2-drop. I don't even think it's worth running. Our mana should be tied up pretty well, for the most part. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if they have no cards in hand, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Like, I don't know if I'd splash for that necessarily. Like, it's fine.
Okay.
But do you think that that's really that great? Do you think we're going to usually be out of cards with a deck that draws this many cards and has
Probably
this many?
not.
So, like, that's where my thought is. Like, we're basically splashing for a Ghoulsteed, which I like. I like being able to get that back. I would say Tooth Collector's not great, but I think Tooth Collector's fine as a 3-drop and fine as a late drop where you do other stuff, right? Like,
it's okay.
If you knew it had Delirium, like let's say whenever you played it later, it had
There's a good chance we'll have Delirium in this deck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are all fine.
So then I guess we just would make some more cuts.
Maybe the 2 Deny Existence, or is that the kind of thing we want in this deck?
Well, we have to decide if we want to...
I would actually cut Humble the Brute first.
So we have to decide if we want to cut spells or creatures.
I would cut Humble the Brute first, because I think that's going to be the least useful.
I don't know. See, I like situational cards like that in a deck where you have 1,
The ability to discard,
2,
basically.
3 discard spells. Like, you can just decide not to play it, and it's really good when it's good. I would be more apt to cut something like Seagraph Scob. I don't know, I like having 2 drops. I don't like having 2 drops in this deck. Inspiring Captain's not great here.
Yeah, cut the Inspiring Captain and one other thing, then.
Probably a Deny Existence.
Probably so.
Well, at that point, I'd probably just rather cut a Humble and Brute.
Well, then cut that. Alright, so save this deck. Oh, you'll need to cut 1 more card. So maybe a Deny Existence. Or you can cut a color.
I think the Black Splash is pretty simple. Like it's just like 1 or 2 swamps.
Alright. Maybe a Deny Existence next.
Maybe a Gone Missing.
That's fine. Cut it. And throw some lands in it. Save it.
I don't know, we have a lot of 2 and 3 drops. Maybe we cut Seagraft Scop as the worst 1 or 2 drop. Like they're just not as important when we consider them as blockers.
Okay, do it. Alright. Put some lands in it.
And basic lands. I think we go
2 swamps is probably good.
Seven, 9, 2. That looks good. Save. All right. Let's go ahead and rename that. Let's add an. No, I do not want to locate my stage 1 opponent with that deck. Okay. All right. Let's look at the green-based multicolor deck. I guess I don't want to put blue with red or anything like that. Like. There's just not enough payoff cards, right?
Yeah, I don't really know what we're gaining from going anything but white with the green. I mean, we could try to get Startled Awake, but the problem with that is the double blue and we don't have any mana fixing. So we have like no mana fixing, which is really odd.
We have 2 pieces in green. There is one more deck we could run. I don't think you're going to be excited about this deck.
Stop trying to make Rise from the Tides a thing.
It's the blue-red beatdown deck. It just, if we had like 2 more Pyre Hounds, I would actually make this deck a thing consideration, but I don't think that we have enough win conditions. Let's look at our win conditions, because that's really what decides can you play this deck. And by win conditions, I mean payoff cards. I think that's it. Yeah, I would consider Aberrant Researcher a payoff card in this deck. You don't run many creatures with run G1 in the game, all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
It's pretty neat. It's a cool deck.
You think
It's not the kind of thing I want to play, especially for 5 rounds.
I'll go ahead and save it. And then not play it, probably. Alright, yeah, let's look at the 3-color green base deck. Which is the one that I think we're most likely to play. Like, I think it's going to be the most consistent, but the white one looks pretty good, too. I do know that I want to play the blue-red deck before the tournament's over.
Yeah, I hope you don't get to, because we're winning too much.
Alright, so let's get the green base in first. This will be a slower style deck. And we're going to want Graph Mole for sure.
I don't want to jinx it, Daniel, but you know we've never gone better or worse than 3-2 in these.
It's true. We are the kings of 3-2. Alright, so I think this is the base of the deck.
Seems fine.
Um,
And then we want our best cards from every other color? Or we want our best cards from 2 other colors?
let's look at blue and white. Let's just get our best cards from blue and white. Icon Bishop, Purge. Start with the Fox and cut it if we want to. If we have enough creatures, we can run Rights, which will make the mana a little easier, or not. So, advantages to running the Rights is that it makes things like Startled Awake very easy to pay 9 mana in a turn. To be like, no, we have 9 mana. I don't know what else we need tons of mana for. If we have enough ways to use a ton of mana, I will play Cryptolith Rights. But it's really, do you have a deck that can use tons and tons of mana and not, you know, any other consideration? Alright. Let's get all the non-creatures out of here first. Looks like blue will be our splash, which will be a little bit awkward with Startled Awake, but I think that it's 100% worth running.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we call from here, do you like how this looks? It's the most powerful deck. Do you want to run the most powerful deck?
I find it really hard to play through colors.
Well, let's put our mana fixing together. Let's do that. Really
Fork, Scarecrow. Is that it?
Rights, if we run rights.
Mm.
Oh, here we can run Logger. That's good too. I mean, that's enough fixing that you won't have issues casting most things, especially if we trim up blue a little bit, which is what we would do.
Yeah, alright, let's trim up blue then.
Or we could trim up white.
I think I'd rather trim up blue.
Let's sort by color. Let's make sure we're being honest here with ourselves.
Yeah, they're exactly equal.
Okay.
And most of the blue is non-creatures. So if we cut the deny existence.
Get over your cards. Alright. So let's see. Cards I would consider cutting out of blue. I actually like catalog quite a bit. That's my blue cut pile.
Well, probably want to cut the researcher too.
Well, these are the cards that I'm not excited to play, but I will. Let's look at the white cut pile. Oh, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather play creatures than play spells. So
I mean,
creatures win games. So
none of these white creatures win games, with the exception of Bygone Bishop. You don't win games
Well,
on 2/4.
what I'm saying is creatures have a better chance of winning you the game than a single spell. Because creatures clog up the board, so you can get to your other stuff.
Yeah, but the blue cards are a counter spell, tempo spell that doesn't lose your card advantage, and a removal spell.
Yeah, I would still rather play the lower cost creature spells.
That's fair.
I mean,
I can run a mana cost.
So I thought you were gonna make cuts, not just reorganize it repeatedly. Hey, there's a button for that? We've been doing it the hard way this whole time, Daniel.
Yeah, you group separately. That's how you have to click. Okay. Well.
So I think we want to start with deny existence as our cut, and then gone missing.
Vessel.
And vessel.
I like Scholar a lot more than you. I think I'd rather run Scholar before I ran Catalog.
Scholar's really bad unless you flip him out. Well, I guess he's not terrible if you don't flip him.
Scholar doesn't flip. He's the guy that draws.
Oh, adherent researcher. He's also a scholar.
He is, but I like having flying.
I like him better, yeah. What's the Reckless Scholar do?
It taps to draw 2 cards, discard a card. It's good.
That's fine.
Yeah. We should cut some of the worst green creatures, like Hinterland Logger and Double Full Thorn Thox.
Alright, one more cut. And we're there.
Probably Stoic Builder. We could either keep Stoic Builder, or we could cut Inspiring Captain. I don't know if we're... Or we could cut Crawling Sensation. Let's see how many discard outlets we have. Like, how often are we getting a link? Because it's really good once we're getting cards in there pretty frequently.
Oh, well. Crawling Sensation, I think it's just worth playing. So.
I agree.
We do need to make one cut.
How much mana can we use? That'll decide if we want Cryptolith, right? Wait, let's look at our mana sinks. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's enough mana sinks.
Probably. Now, Reckless Scholar goes down in value a lot when you factor in we're not going to be madnessing anything.
Let's go with Crawling Sensation. Let's go with Startled Awake.
What, are you talking about cuts?
No. I mean, they're both good with Reckless Scholar. I like the card quite a bit. I think I'd rather just cut Inspiring Captain or Inquisitor's Ox. Just rather not run another 4-drop.
Alright, cut Inspiring Captain then, because I like Inquisitor's Ox. 2/5 is pretty good. I think Reckless Scholar is better for a cut, but
I can see it.
blue's our splash color. That guy's only a 2/1 if we're not doing anything else with him.
Yeah, but I really want ways to get to Delirium if we're running these Delirium cards. Otherwise, I'm looking to cut like Topplegeist. But, like cards that.
Well, I mean, just one card will get us to Delirium. Usually. Just one engine.
How many engines do we have other than Crawling Sensation?
So we have Crawling Sensation. We have Angelic Purge to discard the one kind of card we need. That'll get us there one card.
It gets us 2 cards there, but I mean, it's not that.
That's
many.
half there. I mean,
Yeah, but the other half's the hard part. Like,
we just discard the hard part.
To what?
To the Angelic Purge, we discard the hard part.
Oh, you sacrifice the hard part. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is it's 2 types. I mean, creature's pretty easy. And land's pretty easy. But it's just like sorcery or...
Land's not exceptionally easy with our build.
Well, I thought we had a Fork, a Crawling Sensation, an Angelic Purge.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
pretty likely.
we still don't have really the good Delirium enablers. So.
Yeah, we need to do a Delirium count. I just realized that. That might be a problem.
We're not really...
So
We don't
People
have
like
any
this-
instance, I don't think, in this build.
2 sorceries.
Can you just sort by type?
Well, I could. Okay, so we do have a big problem. We really don't
have any instance.
So we need to put some in. We have some up here. We can make it happen. Would we rather run Might Beyond? I think we'd just rather cheap tricks.
Probably.
Let's run 1 Tenacity, 1 Strength in Arms, 1 Aim High.
Probably just 1 Aim High, 1 Strength in Arms.
So the only reason I really like Tenacity here is that it's real good with Crawling Sensation.
That's fine. Alright, now we need to make 4 cuts. Well, so you just cut a creature that's also good with Crawling Sensation.
Yeah.
So.
To this point, I think I'm out on Scholar and more on these types of effects.
So now at this point we've only got 3 blue cards, so it might make sense just to cut blue, and that would give us exactly the right number. And then we would have 2 green-white decks, no other cards. Because you always cut a color, I think, if you can cut a color.
With how free that is, I don't know. So I think I might actually just end up cutting these 2 blue cards, which seems real weird, to just run Startled Awake.
But it's so powerful.
Until you realize we can just run a couple of ways to get there and Cryptolith right, and very easily could be in a position where we can cast it every turn.
So do you like this deck better, or do you like the first green-white deck we built?
Let's go ahead and add our basic lands.
That seems pretty close to correct.
Let's look at them. I mean, this one does look funny, but I don't think the funniness...
It's fun to play.
Yeah. Alright, so we've got green-white Delirium.
We've got
Green-white Beatdown.
Beatdown.
Which looks fine.
So I actually like the green-white Delirium deck better, simply because I like to play more mid-range.
I don't think that this is a bad deck either. I think that this one does stuff, but I think this is a deck I would sideboard into when they had a lot of answers and I needed a lot of reoccurable threats. Being that Rise from the Tide, Ghoul Steed, and Startled Awake are all very hard cards to beat.
So what if we go back to the green-white X deck and actually put the Ghoul Steed in here too?
With the Startled Awake, I think that's...
With the Startled Awake.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think it's just too hard on how that mana works. Yeah? Because then we'd have to take out another land for a single swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And this just doesn't have, like, the card advantage that this deck does, right? This deck has more ways to put it into the graveyard. That's what I like
That
about
too.
it. This deck just doesn't really put things into the graveyard that well.
Except with Crawling Sensation.
Well, yeah. And, I mean, it gets Delirium decently.
Hmm.
Let's see if there's any more white spells that go well into this deck. You know, we could run one of those.
What?
Because it's great with Crawling Sensation, but we don't have 2 Crawling Sensations, so I'd rather
It's
not.
super bad, though. It's just a bad card.
I mean, if we had 2 or 3 Crawling Sensations, I'd run them. I'd run both. We'd just wait, and then at one point they'd be like, oh, they have 5 1-1s. They'd be like, no, we have 5 3-3s. You're dead. Like, that card is 98% of the time terrible, but if you're big tokens, it's great. But that's a very
big
specific
tokens.
card.
I'm gonna rename to numerous tokens.
Yeah, mini tokens. Okay.
Not many tokens, but mini tokens.
Yes, lots of tokens.
It seems like a fun deck. Would play.
Yeah. So, do we want to start with... I guess we just decided, do we want to run green-white beatdown first and then sideboard into it, or just want to run green-white?
I think I'm gonna start with this one.
Alright, let's start our first round then.
Let's do it.
Oh, wait. Let's re-upload real quick. You guys just give us 1 second, and we'll be right back.